Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's Tropical Atlantic Basin update. So, looking at Hurricane Lee as of 8 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, Thursday, September the 14th. Hurricane Lee continues to be a Category 2 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour, a minimum central pressure of 955 millibars, and northerly movement at 12 miles per hour. Hurricane Margaret remains a Category 1 hurricane with 75-mile-per-hour winds, a central pressure of 979 millibars, and north-northeasterly movement at 6 miles per hour, and Invest 97L is about to develop with a 90% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 2 days and a 90% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 7 days. So looking at the latest National Hurricane Center's Cone 4 Hurricane Lee's wind field continues to expand, with tropical storm force winds already impacting Bermuda, where a tropical storm warning is in effect. Lee is expected to remain a hurricane through early Saturday morning and approach Nova Scotia and Maine as a strong tropical storm by Saturday afternoon, making a landfall in southwestern Nova Scotia now by early Sunday morning, and then moving up towards Newfoundland, southeastern Quebec by 2 a.m. Monday morning and out to sea by 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. Tropical storm watches are now in effect for the New England coastline, and we even have hurricane watches for central eastern Maine, southern New Brunswick, southwestern Nova Scotia in the pinks, and more tropical storm watches in central Nova Scotia and eastern New Brunswick in these yellows. So looking at the latest Zoom Earth satellite imagery and cone for Hurricane Lee is now looking very elongated as Lee is now getting caught up in the jet stream, and we see the clouds fanning all the way up towards Nova Scotia, Maine, New Brunswick now, and Bermuda. Looking at this afternoon, 1 p.m. Central Time, Lee is expected to weaken to a 90-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane moving to the north. By Friday, 1 a.m. Central Time, 90-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane maintaining its strength moving to the north. By Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time, 85-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane curving ever so slightly to the north-northeast. Going into Saturday, 1 a.m. Central Time, 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane curving back to the north, and then going into Saturday, 1 p.m., 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm moving to the north, and then we're going to be looking at a landfall sometime Saturday afternoon in southwestern Nova Scotia with the aforementioned hurricane watch. By Sunday, 1 a.m. Central Time, a 60-mile-per-hour extratropical cyclone in the Gulf of Maine, and then moving through New Brunswick up into Nova Scotia by Monday 1 a.m. Central Time, 45-mile-per-hour extratropical cyclone racing to the northeast, and then moving out to sea by Tuesday 1 a.m. Central Time as a 45-mile-per-hour extratropical cyclone. Now looking at the latest tropical storm force wind timing and probabilities, Bermuda, you're already seeing tropical storm force winds as of Thursday 8 a.m. Central Time this morning, and then we can expect tropical storm force winds in the Cape Cod, Nantucket area by Friday 8 p.m. with about a 20 to 30% chance of tropical storm force winds, and then going into Saturday 8 a.m. Central Time, Nova Scotia, you'll see tropical storm force winds as well as southeastern Maine with about a 40 to 80% chance, and then the tropical storm force winds will move into northern New Brunswick by Saturday 8 p.m. Central Time with about a 40 to 50% chance of tropical storm force winds. Sunday morning up towards southwestern Nova Scotia, possibly the southeastern corner of Quebec, and then into Sunday, tropical storm force winds possibly into northern Newfoundland, and then moving out to sea by Monday 8 a.m. Looking at the official Weather Prediction Center projected rainfall forecast for Hurricane Lee is expected to bring about 1 to 2 inches of rain in eastern areas of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, eastern New Hampshire, northwestern Maine, northwestern New Brunswick, and possibly into southeastern Quebec. We are looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain in areas like Nantucket, Cape Cod, far eastern Massachusetts, just east of Boston, through Portland, Maine, through much of central Maine, and through Holton, and then across central southern New Brunswick, much of Nova Scotia, 2 to 4 inches of rain, and then along areas of far southeastern Maine, coastal Maine, southwestern Nova Scotia, where Lee is expected to come on shore, a good 4 to 6 inches of rain. So we might be seeing some flooding issues as a result of Hurricane Lee. Looking at the latest Weather Prediction Center's excessive flooding rainfall for Hurricane Lee, slight risk of flash flooding for central eastern Maine in the yellow, marginal risk in the dark green, extending down through Portland, Boston, and Nantucket. And then finally, closing off the video with the key messages. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rainfall, and high surf are beginning to impact Bermuda, and a tropical storm warning is in effect for the island. Hurricane conditions and coastal flooding are possible in portions of eastern Maine, southern New Brunswick, and western Nova Scotia on Saturday, and a hurricane watch is in effect for that area. Heavy rainfall in these areas may produce localized urban and small stream flooding from Friday night into Saturday night. Tropical storm conditions are possible elsewhere across New England and Atlantic Canada within the tropical storm watch areas. There's the potential for life-threatening storm surge flooding in portions of southeastern Massachusetts, including Cape Cod and Nantucket, late Friday and Saturday, where storm surge watch is in effect. So look at a little glance at the storm surge. I forgot to show this. 1 to 2 feet of storm surge in Long Island, and then 1 to 3 feet of storm surge in Long Island South, and then 1 to 3 feet of storm surge in Martha's Vineyard, 2 to 4 feet of storm surge in Nantucket, through Cape Cod, Boston Harbor, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, and then 1 to 3 feet of storm surge through the New Hampshire coast, through all of the Maine coast, to the border of the US and Canada. So thanks for watching this morning's update on Hurricane Lee. Make sure you're riding the storm out in Bermuda as the storm is upon you, and preparing for tropical storm and hurricane conditions if you live in New England and Atlantic Canada, in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.